The mirror wasn't a mirror anymore. Emma froze, standing in the middle of the dim hotel bathroom, her reflection smiling back at her. But she wasn't smiling. The air around her turned cold. Her breath fogged the glass. Slowly, her reflection raised its hand, but Emma's hands stayed at her sides. The reflection moved on its own. Emma's heart hammered as the light above the mirror flickered. Behind her reflection, in the other side of the glass, she could see a room, not hers. The walls were darker, older, and there was someone else standing behind her reflection. Someone wearing black. She stumbled backward, almost slipping on the cold tile. The lights went out completely. For 1 second, the only thing she could see was the faint red glow from the alarm clock in the bedroom. Then, from the mirror, came a soft sound, a knock. 3 slow taps. Emma's scream caught in her throat. The story began just 12 hours earlier. She had checked into the Maple Hollow Hotel, a small roadside lodge just outside Denver. It wasn't fancy, 1 bed, an old TV, and a big mirror above the dresser. She was there for 1 night, on her way to visit her sister. The man at the front desk, Mr. Howard, smiled kindly but didn't say much. The only odd thing he mentioned was, "Try not to use the bathroom mirror too late. The lights flicker sometimes." She laughed it off. "That's fine," she said. "I'm used to worse." Everything seemed normal at first. She unpacked her suitcase, watched TV for a while, and ordered dinner. Around midnight, she went to wash her face before bed. That was when she noticed something strange. The mirror didn't look like a regular mirror under the bathroom light. It had a slight delay, a half-second lag between her movements and the reflection's response. She blinked. The reflection blinked late. She waved her hand. The reflection followed just after. "Must be the light flicker," she muttered. She leaned closer, touching the cold glass. Her fingertips left a faint smudge. But when she pulled her hand away, the reflection didn't. Her reflected hand stayed pressed against the inside of the mirror for a second longer, before slowly sliding down on its own. Emma froze. She backed away, heart racing. "Okay, weird mirror, bad wiring," she said aloud, trying to convince herself. She turned off the bathroom light and went to bed, leaving the door slightly open. The faint hum of the ceiling fan filled the silence. She started to doze off, until she heard something from the bathroom. Tap, tap, tap. It sounded like fingernails on glass. Her eyes shot open. She turned her head toward the bathroom. The light inside flickered once, casting a dull glow through the crack in the door. Then she saw movement. Someone was standing in front of the mirror. She thought maybe it was her imagination. She grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept toward the bathroom. The tapping stopped. The door creaked slightly as she pushed it open. The mirror looked normal again. Just her reflection. "Great," she whispered. "Now I'm freaking myself out." She started to turn away, but then something in the reflection made her stop. Her reflection wasn't matching her position. She had turned halfway, but the reflection still faced the mirror. And it was smiling. Her flashlight flickered, the beam sweeping across the wall. The reflection's mouth moved, but she couldn't hear anything. It looked like it was whispering. Emma leaned in closer, heart thundering in her ears. "What are you?" The reflection lifted its hand and pointed behind her. Emma spun around. Nothing. Just the open bathroom door and the hallway behind her. When she looked back, her reflection was gone. The mirror was black, like a window at night. She could see her own faint outline, but nothing else. Then, deep in that darkness, something moved. It was a pale shape, shifting slowly, like a face emerging from underwater. The faint outline of eyes appeared, too close to the surface. She stepped back, terrified. The air grew colder, and the bathroom light flickered one last time before dying completely. Her phone light reflected off the mirror's surface, revealing words that hadn't been there before, written in fog across the glass. "You're being watched." The bathroom door slammed shut behind her. Emma screamed and yanked on the bathroom door handle, but it wouldn't budge. It felt locked from the outside. The air inside was cold, so cold her breath came out in short clouds. The only light came from her phone, the beam trembling as her hand shook. "Help!" she shouted. Her voice bounced back at her, echoing strangely, like the room was larger than before. The mirror was still fogged, and the words, "You're being watched," glowed faintly against the glass. She wiped the surface with her sleeve, but the moment her hand touched it, the reflection flickered again. The bathroom behind her vanished, replaced by something darker on the other side. Now, the mirror didn't show her anymore. It showed another room, old, dimly lit by a single hanging bulb. The floor was covered in dust, and the wallpaper was peeling. It wasn't her bathroom. Emma's voice trembled. "This isn't real," she whispered. Then, in the corner of that other room, a shadow moved. It looked like a man, tall, hunched slightly forward. He was facing the mirror, but not her. His head twitched side to side, as if listening. Emma stepped back slowly, her heart hammering. The man turned his head toward the glass, and though she couldn't see his face clearly, she could feel him looking straight at her. The light bulb above him flickered once, twice, then exploded. The mirror went black again. Emma gasped, fumbling for her phone's flashlight, trying to find the door handle. Her fingers brushed cold tile, then metal. Finally, the knob turned, and the door swung open on its own. She stumbled into the hotel room, slamming the door behind her. She stood there in the dark, breathing hard, trying to calm herself. "It's just a trick. Just my mind," she whispered. "Maybe it's a two-way mirror or something." But her voice didn't sound convincing, not even to her. She turned on the lamp by the bed. The warm light filled the room, making it feel safer, but she still couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching. She called the front desk. "Hi, I think there's something wrong with my bathroom mirror," she said. The man's calm voice came through the receiver. "Which room are you in?" "Room 107. There was a pause. Too long. Then he said quietly, "Are you sure?" Emma frowned. "What do you mean?" Another pause. "That room shouldn't be rented. It's under maintenance." "What? But you gave me the key." "I didn't check in anyone to 107, the man said. "Please leave the room right now. Go to the lobby." Emma's throat went dry. She looked around, the walls, the window, the door. The air felt heavier now, like the whole room was listening. She hung up and grabbed her bag. As she turned toward the door, the mirror in the bathroom let out a loud crack. She froze. The sound echoed through the room again, another crack, louder this time. The light flickered. She looked toward the bathroom. The mirror was shaking slightly, vibrating against the wall. Hairline cracks spread across the glass like spider webs. Then, for a second, the cracks stopped moving. The room was still. And then, something pushed from the inside. A hand pressed against the mirror, fingers splayed, pale skin visible through the broken glass. The sound of glass creaking filled the air as the hand pushed harder, forcing the cracks to widen. Emma stumbled backward, her bag falling to the floor. "No, no, no," she whispered, shaking her head. Another hand appeared beside the first one, both pressing outward. The glass bent forward like soft plastic. Emma turned and ran for the door, but when she grabbed the handle, it was ice cold. The metal burned her skin. She yanked anyway, but it didn't move. Behind her, the sound of breaking glass filled the air. The mirror shattered outward, sending pieces across the tile. The bathroom light flickered wildly, flashing like a strobe. And in the doorway, she saw him, the man from the reflection, stepping out of the broken glass like it was water. His clothes were torn hospital scrubs, his face pale and hollow-eyed. Emma froze. He stepped closer, his head tilting unnaturally as he looked at her. "Don't be afraid," he whispered, voice rough like sandpaper. She backed into the wall, shaking. "What do you want?" The man smiled slightly, but his expression didn't reach his eyes. "You looked into my side," he said. "Now I can look into yours." He lifted his hand and pointed behind her. Emma turned and saw the full-length mirror above the dresser glowing faintly blue. Her reflection was still standing there, but it wasn't her. It was smiling, wide and unnatural, frozen mid-grin. And then it raised its hand and waved. Emma screamed as the lights blew out, plunging the room into darkness. When the emergency lights flickered back on a moment later, the bathroom was empty. The broken mirror was gone. The glass on the floor had vanished. But on the dresser mirror, written backward across the glass in fog, were the words, "You're next." Emma stood completely still, her eyes fixed on the words scrawled across the mirror, "You're next." The fog slowly faded, letter by letter, until the glass was clear again. Her reflection looked back at her, pale, wide-eyed, trembling, but somehow it didn't look right anymore. The light in her reflection's eyes was off. Empty. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, making her jump. It was the front desk again. The same man's voice came through, sharp and urgent this time. "Are you still in that room?" "Yes," she began, her voice shaking. "Get out now. That room hasn't existed since 2012. We sealed it off after." The line cut out. "Hello," she said. "Hello." Nothing but static. She glanced at the room number on the door again, 107. But now, in the flickering light, The number looked wrong. The brass plate was old, scratched, the numbers tilted slightly. She reached out to touch it, and it fell right off the wall, hitting the carpet with a dull clang. Behind it, the faded outline of another number was visible, 207. Emma's throat tightened. "No," she whispered. "That room 207, was the one that the man said didn't exist anymore." Suddenly, from inside the bathroom, the faint sound of running water began. The sink faucet had turned itself on. Emma's heart started to race. "No, I'm done with this," she muttered. She grabbed her bag and headed straight for the door. But the handle wouldn't turn. Again, she yanked harder. Nothing. Behind her, the sound of dripping water grew louder, turning into a full rush like a shower running. The floor vibrated slightly beneath her feet. Then came the sound that made her blood run cold, a faint scraping from inside the bathroom, like metal dragging across tile. She turned slowly toward the half-open door. The lights inside flickered wildly. Through the gap, she could see the sink overflowing, dark water spilling over the edge and crawling across the floor like ink. Her phone vibrated again, a text this time. She looked down. It was from an unknown number. "Don't look at the mirror." She dropped the phone. The bathroom door creaked open by itself, the light buzzing above it. Emma took one small step backward, clutching her chest. The water had stopped. The sound had stopped. Everything was silent. Then, from the darkness inside the bathroom, something moved. Her reflection stepped out of the mirror. It was her, same clothes, same face, but the eyes were completely black. It stood perfectly still for a second, then smiled, head tilting slightly, just like the man from before. Emma couldn't move. Her body felt locked. The reflection stepped closer, one slow step at a time, bare feet silent on the carpet. "Who are you?" Emma whispered. The reflection smiled wider. "I'm you, when you look too long." The lights flickered. The thing's movements became faster now, jerky and unnatural, like frames missing in a video. It moved toward the dresser mirror and placed its palm on the glass. The surface rippled under its hand like liquid. Emma stumbled backward, falling against the wall. "Stay away from me." The reflection pressed harder, its body sinking halfway into the mirror. Its voice echoed, layered and distorted. "You let me out, now you come in." The light above them shattered. The room plunged into darkness. Emma's phone screen lit the space faintly, lying on the floor, still displaying the text, "Don't look at the mirror." But she couldn't help it. She turned. The mirror glowed faint blue. Inside it, she saw her own hotel room, but from another angle. The reflection of the bed, the lamp, the doorway, and herself. Only in the reflection, she was standing right in front of the mirror, staring directly into it. Her real self was across the room, but in the reflection, she was right up against the glass. Slowly, the reflected version raised her hand and pressed her palm against the inside of the mirror. Emma took a step closer before she realized her reflection's other hand was holding something. A key. A hotel room key. The mirrored Emma smiled, then whispered something Emma couldn't hear. The surface of the glass rippled again, and the reflection pulled the key through. It clattered onto the floor at Emma's feet. She hesitated, staring down at it. What? When she looked back up, her reflection was gone. The mirror was empty, just her faint outline in the darkness. Emma picked up the key with shaking hands. The tag attached to it was soaked, the ink smeared, but the number was still visible. 207. And then, the lamp flickered back on by itself. Her bag, which had been near the bed, was gone. The bed itself was made perfectly, sheets tight, pillows aligned. It looked as if no one had ever been there. The door behind her clicked. The knob turned slowly, creaking open an inch, then stopped. From the crack in the doorway, a cold blue light spilled into the room. And in the reflection of the mirror, Emma saw something moving just outside, something tall, with long hands pressed against the wall, waiting. She stepped closer, eyes wide, trembling. The blue light grew brighter. Then, from inside the mirror, a whisper came, her own voice, but deeper. "Check-out time." The door swung open, and the blue light swallowed everything. When the front desk clerk came in the next morning, room 207 was empty again. The bed untouched, the bathroom mirror spotless. Only one thing was left behind, a handprint on the glass, small and faint, pressed from the inside.